Right on. We're just doing a little packing. Right on. It's not hot yet. Hey, hello. Hey, there's people there. It's kind of the middle of the day or middle of the morning. So, hello, everybody. I'm going to sit down for a minute. I'm packing and I'm getting some new stuff today delivered from Amazon. So, I'm kind of waiting for that stuff to come in. And hey, hello. Are you guys, is this my regular people? Thanks for coming in the weird time of the day. I'm just going to be sort of repacking today. I thought I'd turn on the computer and do a little live here, what I'm doing. So if you have any questions while I'm packing, I'll be looking. And then another thing I'm doing today is I got this map. And hey, maybe my daughter is watching. Hi, Kaylin. She brought me this map from just recently from my father-in-law who passed away, my former father-in-law, her grandfather. And I don't know if you're a High Sierra buff of the California High Sierra, but this map, man, I better not have it out in the wind. It's the only one left. We're getting them reprinted. This is a map of lakes, streams, and rivers of the High Sierra. And he wrote this. His name is James Guyton. And I'm going to republish that with my kids and my former wife. And if you've been here before, you would know I'm a Sierra, especially High Sierra buff. I love it. But, you know, I bicycle a lot these days, so I'm not up hiking in the higher Sierra. I'm biking Highway 395 a lot. So that's out on the east side of our mountains here. If you live here, you know that. My favorite side. So, and then somebody had, I'm going to get ready for a few people get on here because something I'm going to take. So I'm heading down to Mexico to get some dental work done this week. So I'm going to be going to the Copper Canyon soon, Mexico. But right now I'm like on the border almost. So I'm heading down to get some dental work done and working on the new bike or getting the new bike. Don't have it yet. And then, you know, still loving my road hopper. I almost don't want to leave it behind. So I'm still fighting that one. But anyway, I'm going to do this trip with a friend of mine from Boston, excuse me, and he'll be coming through. And we're going to do, now, he knows Tijuana and surrounding areas. I'm not real crazy about going to Tijuana, especially as a gringo right now. But, you know, he's the guy to go with. So I'm going to go with him, and I'm going to get my dental work done and hang out for a day and rest up. And then we're going to head down some and looking for some, he says, the best food he's ever had in his life. So if you're not a subscriber, subscribe for like the adventures through weird and wacky places to get good food. And that's what I'm going to be doing a lot of. You know, I'm not a food channel, but definitely when I'm in Mexico and places like that, all the way through Central America, South America, which I've been to already. Haven't been to Central America though. If you've been there, let me know what you think of it. Hey, anyway, so yeah, just hanging out, packing and stuff. And sometimes I forget I'm not making a video. I've been making so many videos. I'm just hanging out right now. It's really nice. And I figured I would do it while I'm in the place to do it, because pretty soon I won't be able to make videos every day. And that's coming up. That's how it usually is for me. But right now I'm just enjoying this, like kicking back and like deluxe accommodations. You know, I'm used to like living pretty much on the fringe, you know, and not having lately in the last few years, not having a solid home. So, you know, I always appreciate a place where I'm going to be able to spread out. So anyway, that's what I'm doing for a while. And so I was thinking about what I'm going to take on that little short trip. And, you know, I was like, oh, I don't need to take any food. I'm going to be down in food land, you know, Mexico. But I thought I'd show you. Somebody had said, hey, or asked, what do you take like for food? And I don't take any food when I bicycle. I mean, I don't take any food unless I'm going to be out remote for a couple of days, and I'll load up on some groceries and stuff. But I don't take food generally. A lot of food anyway. Some bagels, sausage, cream cheese, coffee, and all those little important items that I like. And then, but not like a big. I don't load up a bunch of food. And I don't know if you guys know who David Benfer was, but oh, lost my sound. No sound, Doug. Well, that's kind of lame. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It was probably on your end. Hey, Doug, what's happening? I guess you've been here for a little bit. I'm just packing and repacking and packing, but I'm going to do a short trip. And then I'm trying to figure out logistics and planning for Copper Canyon. I'm starting to get scared now. Not scared, but I'm starting to wake up because I've been in YouTube land. And I'm starting to realize, okay, I got to get the other bike. And then I'm dealing with like, you know, gosh, do I want to? I'm taking this bike on this trip this weekend. So, but I'm really having a hard time saying, yeah, I'll take a new bike, or of course I'll take a new bike, but buying a new bike, which I'm probably going to have to do. No one's going to give me a bike. So but people are offering me other little things, and that'll help. And I got some, I don't know if you guys watched my video on some of the stuff I got for free already. Yeah. I got to 800 subscribers, but before that, because of my views, I was getting hit up by like these cheap Chinese companies that, no offense if you're Chinese, but you know, the stuff is cheap in a lot of places. So it, you know, it's plasticky crap. And it was binoculars, some glasses, and then this hat. It's in the video 2 videos ago, I think, or something. I'm going to number all the videos like David Benfer used to do pretty soon. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. Where are you guys at? Where's everybody at? It's usually hot right here. I can't sit outside normally this time of day, but it's a nice day. And I also got to get some shots for another trip I'm doing. So as I'm doing Central and South America, I'm coming back here, and then I'm probably going to Nepal for a couple weeks. And that's going to be weird. And then I'm going to fly back and get on the bike. But it's not a bike trip, so I don't have to. Although I'll probably get a bike or borrow one over there in the city, in the town, Pokhara, Kathmandu. But I have to go there to work on my friend who he's from Nepal. And he came over here a long time ago, has a successful restaurant in San Francisco, in Half Moon Bay, and called Annapurna. And so I'm going to go to Pokhara, to his place in Nepal, and help work on that. They're going to lay a bunch of tile. I'm not doing the tile, but I'm just kind of overseeing some stuff and putting in some doors. Big, huge, heavy. In Nepal, everything's heavy. All that wood's heavy. It's like South America, Kumaru, and the heavy stuff, you know, real red. Right on, everybody. Well, all right. So, yeah, what I take. So, I said I don't take food, right? But I was showing people the other day. I always have fuel, you know, down there. Hey, Bob. Oh, yeah, you're in Florida till January. Now oh man, you're down there in the warm season too. That's like the opposite of what Okay. Very cool. Right on. Thanks for coming over, Bob. I'm just hanging out, repacking and packing. I'm going to go down to Mexico for some dental work. This is not the big trip to Copper Canyon, which I'm waiting for some emails about places to stay there right now. And then I'm going to go down with my friend from Boston, and then and I'm going to ride around down there with him a little bit. And he knows where there's good food and some weird places to go hang out. So I'm going to go with him. But he's Hispanic, and he can help me. That's what I do in Colombia. I hang out with locals, unless I'm just in a place where I know I'm all right. I'm too visible as this gringo. Hot down there, humid. I bet. Yeah, it's been hot here too, but we don't get that humid. And today is doable. We had even a little rain last night, but there's all sorts of stuff going on down here in the news, and I'm trying to stay out of that. The TV was on in the house, and I was like, oh man, L.A., it's going nuts. They had a big shooting at the sheriff's office, and people. I make these videos about me and L.A. and being down here. That's mild. That's really mild stuff. The bike trail and somebody giving me a little issue, or any of that. It's so mild, and then people give me a hard time for being too extreme and scaring people. And I'm like, well, you got to come down here and hang out with me. Yesterday was wild. Just went out to the store, and there are helicopters and border patrol everywhere. It was pretty wacky, for real. I mean, I'm right here in the middle of it now, but it's in the morning, and in the evenings it's different. Evenings are more just people kind of come out of the woodwork in the evening, and but in the morning people are caught off guard, and I've always known that about people that are law enforcement and that kind of thing. It's an early morning catch, and everybody's all thrown off and hung over, delirious and stuff like that. So that's the best time. That's what they do here. They just catch people going to work, or it's just crazy. Anyway, but I was thinking, God, I'm going to get taken to El Salvador or Guantanamo Bay yesterday. The guy asked me for my ID. I didn't have it. I carry my ID. I carry my passport and my passport card, but I carry that passport card everywhere I go because I don't have a state ID. I'm not here long enough to really be part of a state, So anyway, how far of a ride you got? So not a lot of mileage down where we're going outside of Tijuana. Just cruising around through these little villages, and he's going to take me to some places, some family. We're going to get some good food. And at first I'm thinking, we're going to go hit up some good little restaurant play, but it's all family play food stuff. So that, and then some, ever since I lived in Colombia, juice, man, I'm just into the fresh juices. And here where I am right now, it's almost like that. And you can get good bananas around here. And so I'm almost like in Mexico. It kind of overlaps here, it's weird. And some of my viewers or subscribers are here right where I am, pretty close by anyway. Yeah, family food, man, definitely. Yep. I'm looking forward to it, and that'll be good. It'll be a cheap trip. It's cheap down there. I'm really close. I can't really afford to be going off places. I'm trying to save for my big trip, and then I also work along as I go, and then I'm getting dental work done. So this is more of like go down. Let's do it a cheap way, And he said, no, we're gonna go. And I always like, if we're gonna go to places and eat at families' houses, I'm gonna take care of them, and give them float them some pesos, if I'm not going to buy food. And that's how I do it when I travel. I constantly get invited to eat places, and I just still, throw out pesos, and man, they're like, and they don't expect it. They don't expect it in Latin America as much depending on the circumstances and the dynamic, but most family situation, no way, man. Get in here, eat, and they take care of you. Misconception, here in the U.S. No, not always, I say that and I come back with a beat up face or something. But Mexico, thankfully, I've been lucky. Hey, here's some of the stuff I take, though. If I'm cruising along and I can't find that food, and I'm just, I'm talking cyclists or hiking, or even if you're just walking somewhere. But I got these the other day, those peanut butter packets from Justin's, and I've been eating those for a couple seasons now. They're all over my videos and stuff. So anyway, love those. They got honey in them and stuff. They sent me a big bag of them, and then so these are the things I always take. Of course, water, right? I got water, and I have these Idahoan potatoes. I get 3 of them. Now you can see what size I am. I'm about 150 pounds usually, and like, okay, it's a day without food, man. Maybe even a day and a half. Hopefully not. I got 2 of these, right? That's not enough, but that's 2 of those. And then I got these. I'm not big into the tuna these days. I used to love it, but so much mercury and stuff. Anyway, we won't go into that. 4 of these packets of tuna. 3 or 4 of those with the potatoes, and then I got salt and pepper always in this little bag. And so, like, that's like the protein pack right there for me. And then I have my emergencies and some drink mixes, watermelon stuff to keep the water kind of interesting, fun to drink. And then as I'm traveling, I always pick up some of these things. I know it's kind of gnarly, but hey, you got to just change them out every so often. These little mustard and ketchup packets, and little stir sticks, and some sugars. Get those little sugar packs and salt, because sugar and salt's something you could, if you were really bonking, man, you could take care of yourself. And so that's my little pack, and it goes in this little red bag. No matter what's in the news, Latin America people, I'll tell you the one thing that I noticed when I was in Latin America, when I first got to Colombia, and it was during when we all had to stay in our houses and all that kind of stuff. But I had an Airbnb down there too. That's kind of what I do wherever I go. And unless I have a situation where at work they're giving me housing or something. But yeah, I'm hanging out in my Airbnb first night, and I was tired, and it was back here in America, people were quiet in their houses and all knocking the house and everything, and it was just nuts. And down there, they were dancing, singing. Grandmas always pull out the big speakers, the old speakers. Grandmas and moms, those are still popular with the big bass, and it's just blasting throughout the neighborhoods, and people are laughing and dancing, and families, friends. And I wasn't used to it, I mean, I remember when I was young. That's the way it was, that's the way it was all the time, most of the time, at least on weekends, right? And what that did was brought back memories of when I was younger, and people were a little more joyful in the neighborhoods. Maybe I lived in a good neighborhood, but I got there, and I felt so at home right then. Like, I was almost in tears. I was like, what happened to my country? Anyway, I love Colombia. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. That's the food pack. And having a pretty good day overall here. Just like, it's a nice break in the weather. I'm waiting for for emails from people. So that's kind of like for logistics and places to stay and hints. I've never been to the Copper Canyon. I had the opportunity a long time ago. I didn't go. I wish I would have. But I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but check out the Copper Canyon. Bigger than the Grand Canyon. It's just more vast than the Grand Canyon. And the Tarahumara Indians live there. And they're traditionally known that in their culture to run messages in between and supplies. Run barefoot, or these little sandals they wear. And yeah, Bob, you get that? Isn't that wild? I had to, I'm fine now about it. Back then, I thought, God, am I crazy, or is everybody just completely, during that thing that happened, disconnected or something? I should make well, no, I won't make another channel, that's for sure. But that's like a whole discussion in itself. Yeah, disconnected from each other, and so I don't go for that. Never did, never will. Ever since I was a kid, I don't. You don't like me, then I'll go. I'll walk off. But I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to let you mold me into how society is. I'm not one of the unfortunately, sometimes that's how I am. But It's never caused a problem with me with good wholesome people though. Never. Looking forward to hearing about that Copper Canyon. Yeah. Oh, right on. Hey, there's a guy I watch now. I knew about the Copper Canyon for a long time, but you probably have seen him with the. I can't remember because I don't watch him enough. The guy with the dog, uh, Tierra. I'll get it in a second. And he's been down in South America, Mexico. He went through the Copper Canyon with his dog. And I know you know who I'm talking about. Gosh darn it. I got to get better at remembering guys' names and gals. Omni Tierra. And I saw him going through the Copper Canyon and, hanging out in a village and with his dog. And I thought, I got to go to the Copper Canyon. That was last year when I watched that. And yeah, so love that guy. And he's not a big YouTuber either. I mean, he has a great channel, very successful. But, he's the kind of guy that's just so into his journey. It's almost like he doesn't have time for that. But he does some really special things and in sequence with gaps in between, So I'll have some gaps in between soon here. I mean, not by choice, just by being out more and being back here in luxury land. I've already put on about 4 or 5 pounds, and that's just too hot to ride some days. So, oh yeah, Mira, right on. Yeah, love Mira and that guy. Now, there's other people doing that since him, and I'm sure there's been many before him and during. But he's the guy I noticed first. Now, for years I've seen guys with their dogs and stuff in little crates traveling and even touring in South America. But and maybe they had a YouTube or something. But he's the guy that stands out. Of course, I'm having my coffee as usual. It's always good coffee, though. I have some instant coffee it's Italian, like really good espresso that I use when I'm traveling. But since I haven't been traveling, I'm here making coffee, and that's pretty nice. There's a little dog here who's staying. This is we're calling this Surf Base Camp because we have, tell you what's going on here. My folks, they oversee and operate a surf charity for autism, surfing for kids with autism. It's a camp, and it only happens once a year. So they're here getting ready for that, and so I'm staying with them, and we're doing our thing. I'm helping them a little bit. They've been doing it for 14 years, so like I try to help, and I don't really know what to do organizing wise. I just help them load the car. My folks are it's my stepdad and my mom, who's 82 years old, and she doesn't surf. Neither one of them do, but they've been organizing and fundraising for this surf camp called Indo Jacks. And so that's what's happening here. That's why I'm here at this certain spot. And it'll happen. It's actually a few of them, but the one main one is going to be held next week. So there's a lot of people showing up, not here specifically, a couple other places around the local area. And then up in Pismo Beach, the same thing going on the coast that's north of me up here. So, yeah, anyway, I got, I don't, it's funny because I say I'm packing, but I pack in like a couple hours. Like maybe some of you guys are like that, but I'm refining is what I'm doing, my packing. Now, like this thing, I have this out because I was showing somebody I wanted to, and also because I'm not going to take it on this little trip. I'm just unloading. I want to take a light bag, So I'll probably take just these 2 front bags. I'll take the 2 front bags, small panniers. So if you see in some of my other videos, I have the duffel bags, Sea to Summit dry bags, and I just have them strapped on my forks like a lot of people do now. And you have the little adapter too. And I like that, but here's the problem for me, and I don't think this may not bother a lot of people, because maybe it's all they've ever done, if you're a bike packer, and you haven't used panniers yet, you're probably, and I know they bounce around and they're not as compact on the forks, That's why I lash the crap out of them when I'm traveling. But yeah, I carry one or two small port leaves, and the reason I like them is I just pull them right off and dig right in them. I'm not that dry bag was undoing. I was trying to stuff it correctly with my stuff, and I was like, forget it. I'm getting the hell out of there as fast as I can. Yeah, the surf thing is cool, Bob. Bike Wanderer. I know I have that. Why is that? That's familiar. I'm gonna watch now. Any of the videos? The Bike Wanderer. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Awesome. Yeah. Since I've been doing this, I've seen. I mean, I knew there were a lot of bicycle channels, but I didn't realize there were so many. And here I am I'm competing with all these guys. But it's fun. I'm not really competing. I'm just having fun. That was the whole thing. If you look at my old videos from like even just 6-8 weeks ago, I mean, I wasn't really doing very much. I made one video. Check this out. Since I got a couple of you here, I made a video, and it was about intention. Which I've worked with intention and vibration. That's just me, and that might sound kind of weird. That's how I live and navigate. So I was like making this video, and I think I even showed my book. Maybe I don't know. And I don't know if that's the one you watched, Bob, about the book. Thanks again for buying my book, man, Bob. And the next, I'm going to be, I'm going to be lenient here and say, I want to say it was 2 days, but let's just say it was 4 days. It was a heck of a lot less than that I had my first two videos. I don't say viral, but for a channel my size, they were viral, 26,000 views. And it just happened. And they weren't even those videos, you guys, I'm sure you watched them. They aren't that special. I mean, they're neat stories, but I've made some sense that are better stories and even more scary, but of course there's always something you do about the video that the algorithm picks up or something. Now, consensus is I'm getting tried out. I got tried out, and I'm not that good of a channel. And so they've kind of moved on, and I'm getting great views for a channel my size, but less subscribers. So, whatever. I just go with the flow. And I think I lose subscribers sometimes because I'm just staying the course, and I'm not, and I feel bad sometimes about that, but not really. I mean, I can't. I'm not going to jump around and be somebody I'm not and edit a bunch of crap and jump around with little things flopping around. I'm just not going to do it. This is me. This is who you get, Tectonic Traveler. And I'm happy that somebody appreciates who I am. Yeah, the surf camp's fun. I've helped out a couple times. Usually I'm in Alaska. So this is kind of a new thing you're watching here. I'm in Alaska working every summer, year after year. And then I went to Colombia for a while. And so this being here, sort of in California, even though I'm from here, Northern California, this is different. Totally different scene for me. When I was a little boy, I lived in LA, near LA, with my mom. She was single. And she said one day, we're getting the hell out of here. She took me out of LA. I had asthma too, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't go outside. And the air is kind of like it is now. It's even bad over here. And I just couldn't breathe. My mom said, we're out of here. We got in our VW Bug, hers, and we drove up to a town called Durham in Northern California, Chico. And that's where I grew up. And that first day, she couldn't get me in the house. Because we lived in the orchards, the almond orchards, almonds. So hold fast. You mean here? Or, well, yeah, anything, huh? Hold fast. That's just great advice overall. You don't have to be specific. Yeah. My mom got me out of here, actually. So it's funny, now I'm down here. I'm not living here, but I'm thinking, gosh, Now I see why it's a little different. It's different. I see a lot more health problems down here than I do anywhere else, really. Um, Unless it's a foreign country, third world country, of course. But the pollution's pretty bad here. The depression is pretty bad here. You go to the grocery store now. I go to grocery stores and I can get a feel for the community through the grocery store. You know, I can actually feel like what's going on there. And so, you know, up where I lived in Half Moon Bay for a while, California, everybody's happy in the grocery store, you know, for the most part. But the grocery store here is lowest vibration possible. It's like almost being in a hospital, that low of a vibration. Really, really crummy. And I try to, I go in there with a good smile. Hey, how you doing to the checker? And they don't want to hear anything happy. It's wild. Anyhow, I'm just getting organized and enjoyable day sitting out here. I did post a video yesterday about having to show my ID to those guys and all that stuff. I was last night I wanted to get in a better mood when I did my live, and so I didn't really want to go into it too much. The other thing is right next to me here are a lot. I mean, this is a Hispanic area, right? And so for the most part, and so people are really on edge. I mean, it's extremely, it's crazy. Oh, dude, Guy, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, you inspire me by coming here, man. I don't. It's funny how you don't think you inspire anyone. I don't feel like I'm inspiring anyone. Half the time I just think I'm, rambling on, and I'm enjoying myself, and I think that's where it comes from. I'm having a great time, and I've had enough hard time. I mean, we always have hard time. That's going to be a daily routine. We're going to have that whatever we go through in our life. But I learned this from a friend. Well, I didn't learn it from him. I just watched him. I guess I learned it subconsciously. He just was, even when he was in a low mood, he would go through it, and feel it, and then he just moved through it, man. And he's one of my best friends. Well, Guy, hey, Guy, when did you? How long have you been watching me? I'm kind of new. I mean, I'm new at making the videos this long, I guess. Let's see. I'm sitting at a desk in my job. I'm trying to work hard so I can do some adventures like you. Instead of getting old. Yep, I understand. Well, here's the thing about you though, and at least you're feeling it, man. You want a planet, and you're gonna do it. That's the thing. I have a great photo. I can't show it right now. I wish sometime I'll be good enough on here. I can pop up a photo of looking out a tent window on one of my climbs on Denali up in Alaska, and it was one of my hardest climbs. And it was a great taken with a 110 camera. And yeah, it is, Bob. That back rack, definitely. I like it. It's pretty bomber. But that tent photo is looking out the tent at Mount Denali, Mount McKinley, and it just says. And I'd always dreamed of climbing it, and I hadn't climbed it yet. But I'm on a high peak across from it, and I go, and the dream starts inside. Otherwise, none of this stuff would happen to me if I didn't really sit and make it in a serious, clear intention, and that's not what this is. It never works out like, but it's where I had to go, is where I was rolling to, and getting the momentum, was that first step. And sitting at your desk like that and putting the energy, maybe you've heard this, but like when you're thinking about something, even dreaming about, say climbing a mountain or hiking, and you're going through the motions, and you're plotting, and you're putting that energy, that vibration out there so hardcore. And the one thing that I learned is when something interrupts it. Now, I'm not saying, somebody comes by and interrupts me and I go, hey, stop, I'm thinking about something cool. I'm not like that. I'm thinking, I try to put myself in that spot where maybe I won't get bothered for a while and go into that. And that's a meditation that I do. I try to go into those and all right, where am I going to be? I mean, everything down to what I'm going to eat and what the door's going to look like that I'm touching, the toilet, everything, and I don't get that far in every vision. But if I can do that, things start to happen. And that's what my book is about too, is, but my book isn't you don't have to buy the book to know all that stuff. That stuff's built in you already. And it just gets kind of, fogged over by what we got to do every day at the desk. And the guy going, hey, are you done yet? Or maybe you don't have that. 110. Remember those? The dream. Yeah. The other thing is, and I've been to this situation where I didn't have anything left and there was no dream. And I've also been around people that have the dream is over, and for me to be like at that point, where, okay, it's all done. I'm done. It's over. And like realize, okay, that's not where I want to be, in that down vibration, like, oh, everything, even till my last day, I hope that I can at least appreciate the journeys and all the tools, the bad ones, the good ones, all the mistakes. All the mistakes are just fuel and fuel, for the future. Keep going, and that's what I do. Transform it. I had somebody say to me recently, not recently, gosh, now it's almost been a year. It was a really good old friend, and he said, I see you're on TV, on your videos, and riding your bike and staying in hotels and camping. And he goes, why don't you quit riding from your past? And I had a hard time with processing that, but I actually didn't, subconsciously I knew what was going on there. But I had to look at it and say, is that really what I'm doing? Am I doing that? Am I actually riding from my past? Am I forgetting something? Am I forgetting, to be thankful or sorry for something? And I'd already been through a big process of that, processing things like that on a daily level, even like I do now. So that force of, low vibration was coming at me, trying to pull me back down. And I just don't let it happen. Of course we get pulled down and all that. Anyway, enough of that inspirational talk. But I sure glad that I inspire you if I do even a little tiny bit, because it's important to me. I'm here for that, not only just to tell all my weird and wacky stories and stuff. Thanks, Guy. I hope so. That's what I want to do for my children. I mean, they're pretty inspiring themselves, but I think I don't even think they watch all my videos. They watch a lot of them because they'll say something, and or they'll send me photos that I should put on here of when we lived, when we were living our dream in Alaska and all those crazy precious times, So yeah, I hope to inspire people. Can I ask you what part of the world or place, region you were in, Guy? Where are you, man? I got Bob, I got Guy here, I got somebody else. DC, all right. Yeah, fireside chat with the uncle. Yeah. I got a great uncle like that. He's the one that big garbage truck going by. He's the one that inspired me, to tell stories. And he also is the one that took me camping up in the mountains, Sierras, and and my other uncle who took me up in the Sierra. I have two uncles that really instilled the Sierra in me, and one of them came to Alaska. Here's a good one. He came to Alaska. Boy, this is a quick, wild story. I can make a video here. All right, so my uncle Stu, he worked in Hollywood in the movie industry, drove trucks, Universal Studios, and he came up to 1 year to Alaska. He lived in Alaska one time years ago, so he comes up now. I don't know if any of you guys remember who Dom DeLuise is, but Dom DeLuise was a comedian, and his brother, Dom DeLuise's cousin, not brother, lived in the little town close to me in Alaska. I didn't know that. My uncle said, "I'm coming up, and I'm going up to look it up, Dom DeLuise's brother named Rick DeLuise, and I think he still lives up in Nenana." And so my uncle came up and borrowed his airplane, his little Super Cub airplane with the big tires in the front, and they pick up real fast and land in small places. It's the Alaska bush plane, So he borrows Ricky's plane, and my uncle hadn't flown in 10 years and didn't have a license. But I never forget it's like driving a car, right? So my uncle, hey, everybody who's here, I'm just telling a quick story because I got some people here and I'm packing and repacking and doing some logistics. Anyway, my uncle flew up to Alaska to visit me and borrowed Ricky DeLuise's plane and then flew down to where I was because I was a distance away, Denali National Park. And so he lands at the national park, airstrip, and there's nobody there. There's no tower. It's just a little airstrip. And I'm staying down at a campground there while I'm working, pre-season work. So I pick him up at the airstrip, drive back down, and now he's a Hollywood guy, works on sets and stuff. So he's just a great character to have around and telling me all the movies that were made in that area back in the day. And so he says, "Hey, let's go to the bar." And I said, "Okay, all right, let's go to the bar." And there was a local bar that burnt down years ago called the Roadhouse, the Healy Roadhouse. So we went there and had some beers, and then all of a sudden, like too many beers, and I'm not going to drive, so we just stay there and drink. And there's nobody there except this girl who's the bartender, and he's in love with her now. She's in love with him, and they're going to, after work, we're all going to hook up and go out to her house. This is And so, but I leave my truck at the bar. This is in Alaska. I mean, it's a gravel parking lot. It's a little bar. I'm looking to see who's here, man. Okay, Bob, yeah. Old Dom DeLuise, yeah. So we're at the bar at her house, and we drink. And now it's summertime, so it doesn't get dark. And I don't know, we kind of sobered up, had breakfast with her, went down to this place called the Totem Inn, had breakfast, and then got back to my truck. And we rolled back to where I was staying at my camp, and he hung out with me for a week, and then he flew off back to Ricky DeLuise's with that little plane. But when he left, last time I saw my uncle, he took off from the runway and just cleared the trees, the spruce trees at the end of the runway, and the Super Cub, and I think he was just trying to mess with me. And then and here's how he let me know he was there. That when he came down from the place, he buzzed my campsite, went around the campsite, and then back, landed. Anyway, last time I ever saw him, and I talked to him on the phone. It was payphones in that day. Went down to the payphone, and you got to be our age to know him. Yeah, definitely. I think most people on here are older. I looked at my stats, and I have some of us 30s, 40s and up, big time, 60s, big time. So I think they just pick up on what I say. Oh, I also made a video and my face. It can read everything now, but So he took off. My Uncle Stu over those trees on the horizon. Never saw him again. Talked to him on the phone. made sure he got home okay on the payphone back to LA to my aunt and my cousins. And he went back to work at Universal Studios. And I talked to him several times over the years, but he died. I never got to see him again and reminisce about that and never forget it. That bar has since burnt down and stuff. Well, I'm supposed to be doing some packing here. And hey, if anybody's new here, I don't know if there's any new people, say hello to me. I'm just going through some stuff. I'm going to go down to Mexico. I decided to, well, I have to get dental work done. I wasn't going to go to Tijuana, which is a little bit further away from the dentist, but my friend from Boston is going to come give me a ride down, and then we're going to go to the dentist, and then he's going to go out and party, and I'm going to edit some video from that day, and then we're going to do a bike ride down through some places and get some good Mexican food. He says he knows some two families in particular. We're going to go down and have manuro. I can't say manuro. I can say soncoso in Colombia. And we're going to have stop at some special places. And I'm going to throw out some pesos to these families because they're feeding us, you know. I was planning on eating, you know, spending money on eating down there. But apparently he says, no, I don't spend money on food down there other than, you know, stopping in a little store or whatever. But we'll hit up Enrique and some other people that he knows. I've already talked to who's a follower on here. I'm sorry, subscriber. Forget it's not Facebook sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, repacking. Happy to. Now, about the bicycle, I don't know. A couple of you guys know I'm trying to get a priority. Now I'm working on that, and that might not happen until I go to Copper Canyon, and I hope it does before then. But we'll be doing the road hopper all over the place. And then finally, when I get back down to Colombia, I'll be showing you my bikes, my main bike. The other bikes, they're kind of sitting on the side, but my Jameis Aurora, which I love. So, hello, John. What's up? John Overton. Oh, I was just talking about a good friend of mine with that last name, Bill. Where are you at, John? Or if you don't mind me asking. I'm always curious where everybody is, you know. Yeah, so we're just repacking. Actually, I should probably, it's starting to get warm. And, you know, I have two sets of Ortliebs. I have one in Colombia down in Medellin. And then I have these, and they're black. And, man, they get hot. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy those white ones next time. San Antonio. All right. Hey, I had another guy from there the other day. Yeah, he said, we were talking about my experience here with the Border Patrol. He said, it was pretty quiet there. But yeah, I had a weird day yesterday. But it wasn't that big of a deal. But it's a big deal to a lot of people around here, you know. I'm a gringo, so there, you know, but still I got wrapped up in the stuff. So yeah, Ortlieb has the white ones, you know, and I'm going to get those. I talked to a guy, Adam, one day. He goes, no, don't get these, man. Look how scuffed up they get. And they were all kind of, they have marks all over them like mine do, which I don't, it's not like I'm trying to impress anybody with my looks, but I don't like to bang up all my stuff, you know, especially when it's brand new. I have a really hard time with that. I got this, there's the garbage guy. I'll be quiet for a second. Yeah, so I'm getting dental work done in Mexico coming up here, less than a week. And then we'll go to Tijuana. I'm going to ride through a couple of villages, or a couple of, he just said, they're not villages, there's some narrow neighborhoods. And there's a few guys going with us, so I'm glad. And my friend who's been there lots and lots of times. This is just more of a dental trip for me before I head to the Copper Canyon, Mexico. I don't know if you guys ever watch Omni Tierra. I know Bob, you guys who were just here or are here, have been here, know with the dog. He inspired me with that dog to get back to go to the Copper Canyon, not get back. I've never been there. So Copper Canyon coming up. I'm going to wait till things get, I don't like it in the United States in the winter. It's too cold for me. I can't find a place warm enough. And I don't want humidity, so I can't go to Florida. My dad says, Florida. And so I can't find anywhere. New Mexico, and plus the food and everything, I just feel better down in South America. I feel healthier, you know. I get a glow going on again. When I first get there, my friend says she's was my old girlfriend down there. And she goes, "Oh, you're too pale, you come from America." And then she feed me and I eat really good and everything. All sorts of good things happen to me and I get a better glow again and life is better. But here I can feel now in the summer I don't feel that so much because I'm out here in the getting enough sunshine and all that, moving around. But that's yeah. Anyway, here I am, Southern California. Almost, what would you call it? Almost Arizona, Nevada, getting down to the corners. I've been out in the desert a lot. Um, yeah, so just trying to lay low here. I got they gave me some free stuff, thank God. That hat, I'll probably use that hat while I'm just hanging around here, that with the fans on it that I made the video of. And then I'm just gonna take it easy, try not to spend money, and down here, that's the tough part about being in the States is everywhere you turn, everything you do, every move you make is a money move. And I got so used to South America where it's just not like that, and everything's just cheaper, that I got spoiled. And I get back here and I like, oh my God. Yeah, dental work. Depending on where, yeah, excellent in Mexico. Way better than places I've been here. Right here on the border, there's a bunch of them because what they do is they'll even come and get you over on the border, pick you up, take you across. You get the deal. Hotel, you get these package deals. I'm not doing that. The very best dental work. Now, I'm getting ready for dental work in Colombia. And that's hot. And everything's hot in Medellin, Bogota. It's dental and cosmetic work. I'm not really doing it. I gave up on my face a long time ago. So I'm just trying to take care of my teeth. Looks like I'm outliving my teeth. And plus, I never had great teeth to begin with. So this is going to be good for me. And I'll go through a little suffering. I can't afford to do it. And so I've had, to do it down there in little bits and now get ready here. And then so my dentist from a long time ago when I was a kid, who's 85 now, he can't work on my teeth, but he still does lectures. And, of course, he tried to help my teeth, and all of his work he did in here is holding up back here. So, and I still have teeth. They're just like broken from, two wrecks, and it just chipped and everything. I just need new ones, but they don't hurt or anything. I don't have any pain. So I'm going to do it, the bulk of it in Colombia, and then I'm gonna have a little bit of eye work done just to lift my eyelids because gravity's just pulling my face down like a. Remember that? You guys, some of you are old enough to remember that poster back in the day, and it was in like head shops. If you went in any record shops, okay, that's easier. And it was just like this guy's face is just melting off, and he had his hand in there. It actually said "stoned again," and you don't have to be stoned to have that happen. It's just like his whole head was melting in his. So time to get a little work done on the eyes so my visuals are better. But yeah, drive to considering steel frame, man. Yeah. So that's not behind me. Not check it out. It's not a steel frame at all. But I mean, this is just the beast. I call it just like I haven't put any money into it other than making some transformations. But it's got that, it's got a heavy duty frame built for me for a light guy and a heavy load. And I've had so much weight on that thing where when I do that to my Aurora, my Jameis, it's a steel frame, Reynolds steel. It's great. I know it's going to be bomber, but it flexes, but it does this flexing. I'm like, whoa. And I get used to it, But this thing doesn't flex. And when it breaks, it's going to break, but it hasn't broken and I have trashed it. I'm impressed with that frame. And it's also, you can see it's reinforced. So yeah, priority is what I'm considering. The pinion drive. Yeah. I've seen people breaking belts, but whatever. I've never broken anything. I mean, as far as a chain, or never had a belt. I did borrow a belt drive for a day. It was really cool. Wasn't used to it yet. And the bike I wasn't used to. It was a big frame, beautiful custom built bike with the perfect bars, but it was like too big. It was like I was in a Cadillac, you know? I get used to it. That's what happens to us. You know, we get used to it after a while. But yeah, I like this bike that I would take this bike anywhere in the world. I would just make modifications to it if I was like didn't have any other options. That seat goes wherever I go. I've got actually it has a brother and a sister or whatever. It has siblings in Columbia and then Pennsylvania. Oh, and Hornbrook. I have the old black one, Northern California. I have an old rock hopper in Northern California that's not like this one. I don't remember what year it is or anything, but it's a everybody rides it up there. Lots of hippies and people at this commune that it got taken to, but it's still Darren's bike. Everybody knows it stays right there, and nobody steals from that place. It's called Tashi Choling. Balancing bike life. I'm kind of here. Weird time of day. Going through some packing, repacking, and getting ready to go down for some dental work, and then hang out with my friend Antonio outside of Tijuana and get some good food. And hopefully, I can get some videos of where. Well, I will of where we're eating. Now I have a GoPro. It's a GoPro 5, and it's not that good. It's actually okay. All my footage that you see on my bike was filmed with it, but I'm looking for something new. Everybody's made suggestions. So, and then I had somebody ask me if I was interested in their 360 camera, and I wrote them a letter back, and they haven't got back to me yet. They may be watching how many views or like subscribers I still get, but I was contacted early, not because of subs, but because of the view count, which was weird. And also a bunch of like cheapy Chinese company, and some of them might have been a scam, but one of them wasn't. I got some stuff overnight, not overnight, 2 nights. I got that hat and this cheap sleeping bag. Right on, balancing bike life. What'd your message say? It's all right. I can take it. Yeah. So gonna wrap up the. It's starting to get hot out here. It was cloudy this morning. I had all the gear out for what I'm taking this weekend, and then kind of repack one of the small panniers. And yeah, if there's anybody new and you have any questions, I'm not going to do any more unpacking and packing. We're just going to sit here, probably go eat a little lunch in a little bit. I don't go anywhere after yesterday morning. I mean, I can. It's perfectly fine. It's not like it's dangerous. But yeah, that's a Brooks. Always a Brooks for me. Ever since I had one of my first big solo trips, on the Jameis, the seat it came with, the stock seat. Supposed to be a really good seat for touring, but it didn't work for me. So yeah, I went to the Brooks, and I was apprehensive. Been around them all for years, and even used a worn one, one that somebody had been using, but never broken in one. This one's 2 years old, still feels hard, like I'm breaking it in. I never have a sore ass, ever. I never have it. It's just the greatest seat, man. And I wear padded shorts, But yeah, I love it. I have one on the Jameis now down in South America, and they're on all the bikes. All the bikes have one now. I guess I have some other bikes that people say, hey, you left your bike here. Like Colorado, down near Durango, my friend has a ranch. And I remember the bike now. He said that just recently. He's been watching me. He goes, what about your bike I have? So, that's okay. Oh, see, he had a cheap aluminum Giant Escape. And it held up 250 with a heavy load. Hey, man, see, that's impressive. You just never know, huh? No, you don't have to have expensive bikes. Obviously, look what I have. Um, you know, I would love to have an expensive bike, but all the money that I'd spend on that one bike, I could, I'd have this bike, take care of the other one, and maybe go do a trip. I'm real close though. I've been saying that. That's a bad excuse for me, and now I'm to a point where okay, I'm going to try something different, and I'm not going to get a free bike, obviously, but they're going to give me a really good discount and take care of me with some other stuff, and and that might be an opportunity with another company. And so I haven't made a decision yet, really. I won't go to the Copper Canyon until it starts to get cold here. That's going to be in the fall. Yeah. It's all about priorities, that's for sure. I mean, I I'm blessed to have this computer. I got a MacBook. I always forget, it's funny. That's how good I am at computers. But MacBook Pro, is that what it's called? And that's what you're watching me on right now. And it's been great for me. I've needed one for years. I finally got one. And so talk about priorities and things like that. Plus, I have another job that I don't think I ever mentioned on here. Maybe I did. I work for a luxury vacation rental company, kind of like Airbnb, and they use Airbnb. They're affiliates, and they have properties in all over South America and the U.S. and Germany, places I've never been. I've never even been to Europe. So what I do, their social media stuff, and I only do it one day a week. And then I also do some other stuff for them. Now, the guy who owns the company, I took on a trip last year, a week-long trip with his wife, and all around Tahoe. We did the Tahoe Rim Trail. And after that, I met up with my daughters and did a hiking trip. But I do his logistics when he travels. And because if I've been to where he's been, he says, Darren, put the trip together for me, logistics and all that, and I'll pay you. So that's how I've made my first couple bucks doing that kind of stuff. Now, I've always been a guide and I had a tour company and all that, but I organize his trips and then a couple of his friends to Nepal, South America, all the logistics. And then they go do the trip and, they meet the people I know and the people pick them up at the airport that I know. All the logistics are done by Tectonic Traveler. And that opened up a door for me for not doing Alaska anymore. So I can travel and make a little tiny bit of money from him. Thanks, Bill. And then make a little money from my book. And then hopefully someday make a little money on YouTube. It's all side money. And I'm a carpenter and I do projects all over the place. If I feel like doing them and they're the right place, I'm a fun guy to work with. I love doing projects, but I pick them out and I got to be real picky, choosy, and then I'm there and I do the job and I get it done in a timely manner. And then sometimes I ride to the next destination. I did that last year twice, Orcas Island, once on Aruba, and South America for another guy. So they're all connections I meet through either my old Alaska connections. Excuse me, I'm eating my own hair here, or just somebody I know. All word of mouth. And, let's see, Europe has. Yeah, I know. I got to get over there. Europe. Thanks, guy. Yeah, everybody tells me you haven't heard. They're blown away. I haven't been to Europe, and all my trips to Asia, Southeast Asia and stuff, my stops are Hong Kong, or South Korea. Every trip to Nepal or Thailand has been it's been Seoul, South Korea. So I've been to Seoul. I've been to Seoul like 8 times and I've never been out of the airport. But it's because I'm going somewhere, I've never really known like exactly in the last 4 years, especially what's going to happen, definitely 6 months down the road, but 3 months down the road. So what I got to do is I really got to, like the last two jobs, Orcas Island, building the big timber unit. I had to hire the crane operator. I had to get everybody. So I had to spend like a month getting that job ready, and then I showed up on the job, and everybody's there, and we did it, and then I wrapped it all up. I didn't pound one nail because it's all screws. I didn't drive a car. Electric bikes on site. This guy's son, the guy who was kind of living on Orcas Island and got the money up for this guy to build him his house. This man who didn't have any money, he said, "Hey, my son, his son was a marketing director for Diamondback bicycles. So we had a whole bunch of electric bikes up there. They're all fun. I've never been on one until Orcas Island, so we could ride into town on the electric bikes. It was pretty neat. So all my jobs, yeah, I have to think, okay, what's going to happen in 6 months, and I'll make some phone calls, and I'll just put out all my feelers. Say, hey, I'm available for this time to that time, and then what happens is I'll be in the middle of something, and no one's calling on that. So I'm gonna, as soon as I make the move to plan something, then everybody calls. Every time, every single time I do. So what I do is I just I be careful about planning until it's the last minute. Okay, but if I have that intention of that one job I'm going to go do or project, then and I've made the decision to go do it, even maybe purchase a few things and get ready, then other people start calling. So when it rains, it pours, and that's the thing to always remember. I have that in my book, man. Storms and bad weather, sitting in the storms and bad weather in my book in the tent, and just waiting it out. It's rough. And you almost don't even think you're going to be able to get out of the tent ever. But the weather clears every damn time. Every time. It cycles. It's a cyclic life, It's never going to stay the same. But you do got to do something. Like, somebody said to me once, well, nothing's happening. And I go, well, are you doing anything? Or even one little thing? Did you just go out and poke the edge of the day a little bit? And then that's when it all happens, and it doesn't happen right away. Just look at my YouTube. I had to go make a video about poking the edges of the parallel dimensions a little bit, and that video went viral 2 days later. And you guys know I'm not lying. That's the great thing about this channel is it's been one of the greatest wake-up calls for me and people that know me and people that have been watching me, obviously, that just came here over the last month. They go, wow, that video, you didn't have any fun. I had 98 views on that video about my book or whatever. I can't remember if the book was in that video. But after that video of intention and the other things, everything just happened. Now the algorithm read it, but it sat dormant for a little bit and then went. And now, then the other videos went too. And then the algorithm figured out, oh, okay, this is who this guy is. We're going to mellow out here, maybe not give him so many impressions. Although my video from yesterday is killing it right now. And then it's just odd, But that's the thing, as I said in the beginning of this thing, that in the very beginning, that I'm bringing YouTube and everybody with me. And if you want something, or if you want to recommend something, or I'm reading, I'm looking all the time, but I'm going to take it where we're going, It's the way my whole life has been. And if YouTube isn't really into it, then that's okay, because at least you got here and we're going to keep going along, And I think that's the frustrating thing about watching people on YouTube is and they give up on. It's like, well, if you gave up, you weren't doing anything in the beginning, I guess. So don't let YouTube run your whole show. Keep doing your show and keep adding some videos, Just bring along the YouTube with you. So it's frustrating to watch. It cycles. So it can end up bouncing out. Yeah. I was telling somebody earlier, a friend of mine a long time ago said he's just kind of a sabotage from a bad energy person with real bad energy, not having a good time in his life, and he was giving me a hard time about how I live, and and all this, which is understandable. It's hard to take sometimes. It's hard for me to take. Like today, getting ready to go dentist and all these things coming down. I'm not going to let them get to me. I'm going to keep going, right? And so, yeah, he's said those things to me, and so I had to get in my little book and go, oh yeah, I got to use that as fuel, don't I? That's got to be my passion, the fuel for the rocket to keep going along, and not to keep just going along and ignoring the past. That using that as fuel, like, oh shit, yeah, my Buddhist Lama friend Rinpoche. If you're here, you're really lucky to hear this. Sorry, but it's true. He said his best words to me were just be calm. Just be calm. That was actually his last words. Be calm, everybody. It was during the elections, everybody was flipping out. Collectively, the world was just coming unglued. And so he just said, be calm. And the best description of, staying calm for me and his analogy of riding that cyclic wheel was the merry-go-round, like today, I started riding the merry-go-round. I was just getting too wrapped up in everything. And I was on the outside getting all dizzy on that, when you're a kid. And so I had to sneak to the center and get in my meditations where it moves a little slower. And that, and that's what I do. I pull to the center. I go out and poke the edges of the circle, like we were talking about, and then I got to pull back to the center. So that's my, I find myself talking like this, and I remind myself of this guy who, and I don't want to be like this on this channel. I mean, I like talking to you guys, but I don't want to get into too philosophical, stuff. But there's a guy, again, I can't remember people's names. Gosh darn it. Balancing Life something. No, not you. Balancing Life. This is a different guy, and he's just talks like that all the time, And I like hearing him talk, but after a while, I'm like, "Woo, let's get back into some fun stuff." You can't. If that's part of this channel, we got to have a little fun, And that's who I am when you're around me. If you're ever around me, I'm not. I get real serious when I'm talking about stuff, but I want to have a good time. I got to get a little closer here. Balancing Life. Nope. Not at all, man. Balancing Bike Life. Oh, how much acid you drop back in the day. No acid. Mushrooms. Probably just good enough, huh? Nah. Nope. No acid for me. But that gave me enough insight to know what that's all about. So, yeah. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. That's why, I mean, I've already lost subscribers because of, the way I am. But like I was telling everybody earlier, that's just who I am. Yeah, I get a little weird and wacky. I've been out there on the edges a little bit, but I'm here. I'm alive. Hey, Bardio. No worries. There's a quick announcement because I was repacking a little bit and doing some stuff, and then I'm getting ready to go get my dental work done, and I'm trying to get new stuff for the trips, and I'm waiting for mail to come and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd sit out here and just turn on the computer and finish up some more coffee and and talk. Let's see. Yeah, thanks for coming over, man, as always. And thanks for the good music. Bardo B gives us some great tunes, playlists, excellent stuff. making a playlist for my trips from Bardio, courtesy of Bardio. Normal is boring. That's what makes me interesting. Thanks, man. Yeah, I started to over there at Uncle D's Weird and Wacky Psychedelic Cyberspace, my other channel, 6 subscribers. I was getting a little wacky there. It's just fun. It's like, well, I don't drink anymore, but drinking doesn't bother me when people drink around me. It's actually kind of fun to watch. But and everybody loosens up a little, and I do other things to loosen up, you know. But I was. Oh wait a minute, I'm reading again. Yeah. I don't want to be boring, but I was on that channel and doing me, you know, hanging out and maybe going a little further out than I normally do. I sit out there on another planet, and I kind of feel like I'm away from the planet. And I got some mountains I superimposed in there, but I really truly am sitting up there in a chair, just like, you know, away from all the collective weirdness and all that kind of. That's what I do anyway. I'm involved in it anyway. I'm a human. I got to be in playing the game, right? It's not like I'm so much of the kind of guy I don't have to be around everybody. I got to be a human, you know. But I can play with, you know, anything I want. So I was given the opportunity. Hold on just a second. I got to shut some doors. I left some doors open there. Got the roommates are coming by, or the Airbnb, and then my folks are the surf camp is happening, so everybody's organizing here. We're gonna go through some commotion here pretty soon. But yeah, they're packing up for the surf camp. Hey, I think I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna leave the computer on though. I'm gonna come back, and I understand if you guys all have to take off, but I'm going to leave the computer on so people can see the bike, and I'm going to leave a message that I'll be back in 5. Thanks, man. You guys are great. I love you. Guy, hang in there. I love having you, all of you. Bouncing Bike Life, Bardio as always. All you guys, man. If I'm not seeing you here, I'll be back. Thanks, John. Appreciate you a lot. I'm going to check out your channel. I am coming back. There's 5 people there. Okay, you guys. I'm not coming back yet. I was leaving it on because I'm doing stuff, you know. And I don't think it's like as far as views go and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of fun to do it this way because let's see. Okay, I'll be right back. Safety meeting. Give you a different view here. Look at there. Oh, this is real life stuff, at least, huh? Cruising around. Now, one cool thing I get to do, since I think anybody can do it, is I can do live streams on my bike when I'm down south or wherever I go. That's a little better of a view there while I'm taking a break. But yeah, I'll be able to ride. Right on. God, I'm ugly. That's all right, though. Here we go. Almost there. Have to show you the new hat. Righty. Good afternoon. All right, here we go. This is the, I don't know if anyone's there. You might be having lunch. This is the new hat. It's got, these are high powered dudes, these little dudettes, whatever, fans here. And you can charge it with a charger, but it's got the little solar panels, and they actually work. Because I was standing out in the sun, and do that. Now, I don't like hats that much. Obviously, I wear a helmet. People give me a hard time for wearing a helmet, but they haven't seen the scars on my head. But you know, you could get I don't know, you wouldn't wear this with a helmet. But if you're just cruising, you know, out for oh, I got to catch up here. Sorry, everybody. I'm like Johnny Carson. Not as funny, though. Okay. Live stream from the bike would be super cool. I'm going to do that. Yeah. What? I know people do that, but where I'm going to be, it's worth it, you know? Definitely. This thing is wild, isn't it? Let's see. I've been working on a channel. Yeah, I did. I saw your channel. I subbed to you. I'm going to go back and look again. I'm sure I subbed. I look at people's thing, obviously, before I sub to them. Because I know a lot of people just sub, but yeah, not doing that. I think most content creators, subscribers, are other creators. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. So, yeah, here's the hat. Anyway, it was free. ¿Cómo estás? Wow, that looks weird, doesn't it? Holes in there. Now, actually, for riding the bike, you know, this gives it a little flow. Like, so if it's windy, maybe it won't come off your... No, hold on. I think it was kind of noisy, so I didn't turn... Let me turn it on here. There we go. Pretty powerful, believe it or not. I just turned this one on. But yeah, it's very powerful. Yeah. Can't really hear it though. Pretty cool. If you were just sitting around in the heat or just going for if it was a hot day and it wasn't real windy or humid, like, excuse me, you guys that live in the humidity, I don't know how you do it, but I would have one of these. I'd have to have one. Drive me crazy down there in that heat. Oh, it's got 3 speeds too, by the way. 3-speeder. Anyhow, I think that's I did a video, you know, on getting this in that sleeping bag. The sleeping bag is like a summer bag, or actually, I call it a summer bag. It's a cheap Chinese sleeping bag. It says you could sleep in the snow in it, but you wouldn't. You wouldn't dare. I don't have any problem saying that they make cheap stuff, because I actually have a friend who has a company over there, or used to. He moved it to Singapore, and they made cheap stuff made in China. Anyway, so yeah, pretty cool. Made in the USA. I'm a made in the USA guy. Although I have about a zillion things made in China. Probably everything I'm wearing. No, I don't know. More and more things that I like are made here. Some of the shirts that I'm getting, the natural fiber shirts, I'm going to advertise for them, but they haven't made me an offer yet. So I'm not going to do anything yet, but maybe this week I'll show you the shirts I'm going to get. And they're natural fiber, and that's the stuff I like to wear, but I can't afford to buy it all the time, especially when I'm going to the dentist. This dental thing will be epic. So, but good things happen, and I'm excited about the future and what's coming up around the corner. I think it was Guy on there talking about stuff, but I'll let him. Oh no, I just let him send me something. If it's good, you're gonna know it, because I'm gonna beat the crap out of it. Obviously, everything I have. If I have something and I've had it for more than a year, then you'll know it's good, or at least you'll know that it can endure, a lot of abuse and stuff. It doesn't. Maybe it won't be what you want, but yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's like people are gonna make me a bunch of offers or anything. I'm just. I got a couple of little cheapy things. I've had other things outside of YouTube from what I do that are not like sponsors or anything. Actually, sponsor, yeah. People who have helped me with what I'm doing, but not a product, not an actual merch, vendor. That's right. Hey, speaking of which, I need some. So, Tectonic Traveler definitely needs some new sunglasses. I also like to get a few to hand out to people that need sunglasses along the way. I carry one of those, the wipes, you use for in the plastic container, got the lid on it, and they come out. I use those a lot for stuff, but I store my sunglasses and stuff in there, but I always throw a couple extra pair of, not real expensive ones, but if somebody wants to sponsor me, I'll give those to somebody that needs down in another country, but I'll hand that kind of stuff out if I've got it. I learned that when I first went to the Himalayas climbing. They said, and this is back in the 80s or early 90s, 89. They said, bring stuff to hand out, bring some Band-Aids, hand out to the kids. So I brought Band-Aids and some other stuff. And then the other thing I did was I had a porter on my first big trip into the Himalayas, which is a guy who helps you, Nepali, local. He's a guide. He also carries stuff. And I felt bad. I didn't want him to carry stuff, like that's how it's like I'm paying him to carry stuff, but I felt bad, And but he had I gave him the small load. It's a funny picture. I'll show it someday. It's like me, this big, massive pack. And my Sherpa, not Sherpa, but my porter, that's different. Sherpas are different. Those are in the Everest region. This guy was a porter, and he had a little backpack, and he's smoking a cigarette. And I've got like what you would think is, I look like his porter. And so, anyway, but he also was the guy who took care of us all the way in. He was a guide. So I didn't think he needed to carry everything. Anyway. I gave him my shoes so he helped us. My climbing partner had one too. He had a porter. Their names were Pecos and Cool, Kuhl, like cool, and Pecos and Cool, and they got us up to base camp. and then they took off back there. So we had all our shit up there, and they helped bring up stuff, and then we had to get all our stuff out. But that's different coming down, you know. And the way you do it in Nepal, I did it, and the way a lot of people do it is you sell things on the way out of the mountains. So you got all your climbing gear, and I sold everything. I just sold my boots. I kept my boots until I got to Pokhara, and then I bought a new pair of shoes. But I gave that guy my tennis shoes because those were my trekking shoes. And I got into base camp, and I'm like, I don't need those anymore. I walk out in my boots. So both of us did that. Pat, my buddy, we walked out in our boots, you know, got the whatever, you know, suffered a little. And then we bought shoes in Pokhara because everything's cheap, and sold our boots. We sold all of our Himalaya gear, and then just took our rock climbing gear and spent 6 months in Thailand after that. So, you know, because we knew we were going to do it that way. We knew that way. Okay, all this gear we're buying for Annapurna, which is actually not Annapurna's Tent Peak, Tarpuchuli, in the Annapurna region. We knew we were going to get rid of all that stuff. So, got our gear, and I mean, we just went to Thailand with pretty much a little pack and, you know, the rock climbing shoes and all our shit and stuff like that, which we had actually stashed in Bangkok at the airport in storage. So we did that on our way to Nepal. Oh, I don't know. I think I might wrap it up here for a little bit. Everybody probably could use a break. I might come back on out this evening and do some stuff when it gets cooler. It's starting to warm up. Appreciate you guys coming over and hanging out on an afternoon, or I guess whatever time it is for you, anywhere you are. Thank you guys. Right on. I try to cover up the bike, you know, because it's pretty warm. I don't bring this with me. It's like a motorcycle cover almost. But that's a little rough on the Brooks saddle too. All that sun. Hey, tonight I'm expecting some packages, so I'm going to come back on tonight and show you what I got, if I got anything, if it shows up. Either way, I'll probably pop back on and see who's on. Appreciate it. If you just got here, I see somebody just popped on. I'm getting ready to I've been on here for a little while. I'm going to come back on. I'm getting some mail, hopefully some new gear. And I'm going to be heading down to Mexico for some dental work soon. I just covered up the bike. It was in the sun. And yeah, I'll be back on tonight. California time, about 5:30, 6 o'clock, right around in there. And show you what I got. And if I didn't get anything, I got a bunch of stuff that I haven't pulled out yet from the gear stuff. So yeah, I was trying to get ready and kind of laying low and trying not to go out and spend any money before I go on my trips, and waiting for the good stuff to come in the mail. That's what I'm excited about. So I'll see you guys shortly. And thanks for popping in, man. You guys are awesome. Thanks for saying the nice stuff you guys do. I appreciate it, the support. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Ricky 420. Oh, you're there? Okay, so usually I'm in South America, you know, Colombia, if you watch me at all, but I'm going to be in the Copper Canyon first. And I'm right now, as we're talking, I was telling everyone earlier that I'm figuring out my logistics and where I'm staying right now. And of course, I don't know where I'm staying most of the time, but I'm trying to at least have an idea. And if you can help me at least with recommendations, man, you're right there. I just love you. I can't believe you're here. And I really appreciate you watching my stuff. So, yeah, if you have any ideas. And also, I live in Medellin, Colombia a lot, but if you have any recommendations for a gringo like me, if it's, if you don't recommend coming where you are, or you do, but, of course, I'm used to going places where I'm not supposed to go, but I'm trying to be careful. Uh, and that's so great to have somebody like you here. Yeah. Okay. Morales. Sorry, I'm not seeing very well. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're going to keep in touch. Now, I do need to say this live feed I haven't been able to keep. It's not me. It's something to do with the browser and YouTube. And there's a tech working on it for me. I'm supposed to get an email back. So if you don't mind dropping a message in the comments, I'll remember, 420. Of course, that's one of my favorite numbers. But yeah, please stay in touch. And okay. Mexico City. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate that. That's awesome. It's people like you that get me excited. I this will be, there was supposed to be somebody going with me on part of this trip, but there won't be. And so I'm solo, and I'm always a little fearful, but I'm also going with a good feel and a good energy. And it's people like you that come up like this and make me feel like, okay, maybe I'll know someone along the way. Thank you, Reiki 420. I think I'm saying that right. Right on. I'm gonna look at your channel too, and some people don't have anything on their channel, but if you're there, I'm gonna sub to you. Right on. I'll figure out how to make the text bigger on this thing so I don't have to look at you guys so close. Right on. Hey, that's awesome. I was just about ready to get off this live, and then that gave me a little more energy for a second. So thanks, guy. You'll be talking or seeing me I'll go live, depending on, what time I'm not sure what the Wi-Fi will be like where I am and all that, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be good. Also, I'm going to be using my Roam Wi-Fi device down there, and that's that orange thing. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's a Wi-Fi device, and what I can do is I can go online on here and program it for Mexico. So I don't have to use my phone down there. I can use everything through the computer, and then I have a NordVPN with that, but you don't need that. I just have that Roam Wi-Fi. It picks up the closest, strongest 5G tower connection, and I've shown that. I've almost made a commercial about it just because I love that thing. It goes everywhere. So yeah, I'll be going live, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. I'll be back here in a few hours. What time is it? Yeah, I'll be back here about 6 o'clock or so. See what I got in the mail. Hang out in a little of the shade and have another cup of coffee, my Colombian coffee. All right, man. Thanks, you guys. Love you all, man.